Internet access has become a cruising essential. Getting weather reports, learning about anchorages and attractions, and staying in touch with other cruisers, as well as folks back home. In today's episode of the Boat Galley podcast, I'll talk about 8 different options for internet in the Bahamas, and the pros and cons of each. This episode of the Boat Galley podcast is sponsored by Shambhala Sailing Adventures, offering customized learning charters in the Exumas, Bahamas. Sailor like your owner, with coaching from Captain Suki Cannon. Contact her at captainsuki@gmail.com. That's CAPTAINSUKY@gmail.com. Mention this podcast for 10% off. Bahamas internet options have sure expanded since we were there in 2016. Far more options exist, with greater coverage and speed and considerably lower prices. As we're planning to spend 3 months in the Bahamas this summer, I've been doing a lot of research on the topic. Our primary weather forecast, that's Chris Parker, come via email, and of course there's the Boat Galley. The features that are important to me might not be the same for you, but here's what's important to me. The coverage area. Can I get internet in some of the more remote anchorages? Am I limited in what sites I can access? How fast is the service? I'm a heavy user, so cost is a consideration. Is there automatic billing, or do I have to deal with checking usage and paying when I need more data? Customer service. And is there additional hardware? If so, what's the cost? Now, there are 8 basic options exist for getting internet in the Bahamas. You can use Wi-Fi at local businesses. You can have international roaming on a US-based cell phone plan, such as Verizon or AT&T. You can use T-Mobile's international plan. You can use BTC, which is also known as Batelco, the Bahamas telephone company. Alive, there's My Island Wi-Fi, Google Fi, and the Iridium Go. Now, cruisers coming from other countries may have other options with cell phone companies from their home countries, but I have no experience with those. I'm coming from the US, and these are my options. We're planning to cruise the Berries and the Abacos. Dave and I enjoy staying at more remote anchorages instead of always being in towns. So let's talk about Wi-Fi at local businesses. In towns, there's generally a bar or a restaurant that has free Wi-Fi while you're there. You usually have to buy something. It's almost always passworded, and I know some people will go in once, get the password, and then use the internet on the boat with a Wi-Fi extender. My feeling is that unless the business says it's okay for you to do that, it's not. They want the bandwidth for their customers. They are offering Wi-Fi to attract customers. If you use it without buying something, you're effectively stealing from them. My take on this for my purposes. Wi-Fi at local businesses, it simply isn't going to work for me. I need coverage in areas where there are no businesses. I need it on the boat, and I need it all the time. Wi-Fi at a local business is best for extremely low-budget cruisers and as a backup to all the other possibilities. How about international roaming? If you're traveling just for a few days, international roaming might be an option, but it generally doesn't work for cruisers. Data is expensive. The last I heard was about $10 a day for less than a gig of data. As far as I know, no cruisers go this route. My take, it's an absolute no. T-Mobile International Data. T-Mobile's 55 Plus plan has an international option, and I already have it as it allows unlimited high-speed hotspot data in the US. This costs an additional $25 per line, and it's what I use for all my internet in the US. In the US, I get 4G speed almost everywhere, and my phone serves as my hotspot. This plan also offers unlimited international data, so it seems like a no-brainer for our trip to the Bahamas. Just take my number, and the minute I'm within range of a tower, it'll connect and I'll have service. Well, it used to be that T-Mobile international service in the Bahamas was extremely slow, like dial-up speed slow. T-Mobile still says that it's all 2G data. A few people have recently told me that they have decent speed now. Others still complain about how slow it is. So some areas may actually have 3 or 4G data. It's my understanding that T-Mobile works through BTC, the local phone company. So coverage areas are about the same. People can call your U.S. number and it'll ring if you have coverage in the Bahamas. And you can also call out just as if you were in the U.S. Rates vary by where you are calling, but are typically about 25 cents a minute. My take. I'll be staying on my T-Mobile plan while we're in the Bahamas. It would be nice if it worked well, but I'm not going to count on it. With my need for reliable and reasonably quick connections for weather in the boat galley, I want to have another plan in place, and then I can compare the two. How about BTC, or Bahamas Telephone Company? When we went to the Bahamas in 2016, I got a BTC SIM card, put it in my existing phone, and used it for hotspot data. Back then, it was $50 for 5 gigs. Now it's $35 for 30 gigs. You can also get combination voice and data plans. BTC's speed isn't blazing, but it's good in most places. They claim 4G LTE, but it's actually where available, not everywhere. In more remote spots, you're probably not going to have enough speed for streaming videos. But for just surfing the web and email, it's fine. If your phone is unlocked and uses a SIM card, you won't need any new hardware. And you can get the SIM card before you leave the U.S., so you can connect as soon as you're in range of a tower. To get a SIM card before leaving the U.S., go to Mr. SIM Card. I'll put a link in the show notes. A SIM card from them costs a little more than buying it in the Bahamas, but their assistance is fantastic as far as telling you if your phone will work and the exact directions for getting connected once in the Bahamas. BTC also has stores in just about every town in the Bahamas. You can get set up almost anywhere you go. Customer service is generally good in the local shops. You can top up your account online or buy cards in local stores. For years, BTC was the only telephone service in the Bahamas, and they've got the systems down pat. However, they don't offer any sort of automatic payment for the types of accounts the cruisers typically have. Now, your phone has to be unlocked to use a BTC SIM card. Most U.S. carriers will give you an unlock code that you enter when you put the foreign SIM card in for the first time. You can do this while you're still in the U.S. You don't have to be in the country where you have the SIM card. Check with your U.S. company for details, but it's a good idea to get an unlock code before leaving the U.S., even if you think you're going with a solution that doesn't need it. It's best to have it, just in case. Your other option is to buy an unlocked phone before leaving the U.S., or get a BTC phone once you get to the Bahamas. BTC is a solid option for Bahamas internet, but one of the other options that I'm talking about, iIsland Wi-Fi, or Alive, is even better. However, BTC is easy to set up anywhere in the Bahamas, so if you're there and you need decent internet immediately, it's a good choice. Okay, let's go on to Alive, A-L-I-V. Alive is a new Bahamas telephone service. You can either get a SIM card or use your phone as a hotspot, or you can get a MiFi router that is data only. Alive is putting up its own towers and, in some locations, putting their hardware on BTC towers. Coverage is not as extensive as BTC. Mr. SIM Card's recommendation is to use Alive if you're in an area where their coverage is good, but BTC if you head out to more remote areas. Eddie, who owns Mr. SIM Card, says that it really comes down to a question of speed versus coverage. I'm told that their coverage map is optimistic. Alive generally has higher speed than BTC and advertises unlimited data, although they will throttle you at 100 gigabytes on a monthly plan or 30 gigabytes on a weekly plan, according to their fair use policy. The MiFi unlimited monthly plan is $75 a month. There's a lot of confusion about the MiFi device. Some people report getting one for free with no strings attached. Others report that canceling your account before 3 years is up triggers a large payment for the device. I used their online chat with customer support to try to find out more about this, and was left hanging after the rep said she'd have to ask her supervisor. Alive does not have stores in Bimini or the Berries. In other areas, stores are only in larger towns. This can be a problem for boaters who want to pick up a SIM card or device once they get to the Bahamas. Mr. SIM Card says they expect to carry Alive SIM cards and MiFi devices shortly. When they do, I think the cost of the MiFi device will be a lot clearer. Now, if you decide that you want to use an Alive SIM card in your phone, make sure you have an unlocked phone or the unlock code for your phone. My take on this. There are serious questions about Alive's coverage and also the cost of the device. I've also heard some unconfirmed reports that throttling occurs sooner than 100 gigabytes for the monthly plan, more like 20 to 30 gigs. With this much uncertainty, I think that BTC and My Island Wi-Fi are better choices for about the same money. Although I do know a number of cruisers that are using Alive and loving it. So let's turn to My Island Wi-Fi. It's the brand new kid on the block, selling to cruisers just since mid-December 2018. And cruisers are raving about the service. $75 a month gives you truly unlimited coverage, no throttling, high-speed internet. You are only limited by coverage and any network congestion, which I'm told is only a problem around Great Harbor Key in the Berries, due to a BTC tower problem that they are working to resolve. My Island Wi-Fi uses BTC towers for different frequencies, so you get the extensive coverage that BTC offers, but avoid the network congestion. My Island Wi-Fi and cruisers I've talked to report connecting even when 25 miles from a tower, although signal strength and speed increase as you get closer. Top speed is 4G LTE, and they claim it's available across the network. Cruisers report that the speed within about 10 miles of a tower is fast. For even greater reach, you can put the battery-powered router up the mast or on the top deck of a trawler. You can get their MiFi unit shipped to you in the US or Canada by the company, not growing through Mr. SIM Card. However, it will be activated once it is shipped to you. So you want to do it fairly close to when you leave. Billing is set on an auto payment plan, and you can cancel at any time without penalty. If you're returning to the U.S., the best thing to do is to wait until you hit the U.S. and then cancel. That way, if your crossing gets delayed, you still have internet. You can also have a MiFi device shipped to you in the Bahamas if you decide you want to switch while you're there. They can ship to most populated places in 1 to 2 days. If you're in a remote location, you're going to have it shipped to the nearest town and then go there. When you order the MiFi unit, you pay a $50 deposit. At the end of your trip, you can return it and the deposit will be refunded. Or you can keep it for future trips and they'll keep the deposit. My Island Wi-Fi is data only, but you can get phone service if your phone has Wi-Fi calling capability. Connect your phone to the MiFi network and go into Settings, select Wi-Fi calling, and then tell it to only use Wi-Fi calling. Every phone is slightly different how you do these steps. Turn off cellular calling and data. I'm told your phone will ring and you can make calls and text just as if you were in the U.S. Since we're not yet in the Bahamas, I can't say from personal experience how this works. Reports are that customer service is excellent. The company president gives out his cell phone number for anything that customer service can't handle. I called the company number on a Sunday afternoon, and Leo, the president, answered and talked to me for about an hour. My take? Well, My Island Wi-Fi is what I'm planning to use for my primary internet service provider in the Bahamas. The combination of coverage, price, speed, truly unlimited data, the ability to get the unit in the U.S., set up autopay, and great customer service makes it a no-brainer for my needs. Have you enjoyed this show? Then please subscribe to the Boat Galley Podcast in your favorite podcast app. Reviews are always welcome now. And enjoy your cruising. Until next week.
Slow down, slow